Second segment of the show for today. We're talking to Mr. Lorenzo Washington, who has given us some information relative to some of the things that he has been involved in during his life career on Jefferson Street, some of the entrepreneurial activities he has been involved in, especially some of the activities dealing with recording industries and whatnot. And so, Mr. Washington, let's see if we can pick up during the second segment and to talk about some of the things that you'd like to talk about dealing with what you call Jefferson Street sound. Mm-hmm. Exactly how would you define and describe Jefferson Street sound, bringing to mind that our audience has an opportunity to see this beautiful tree that you have dealing with Jefferson Street. Let's talk about Jefferson Street sound.
Well, Jefferson Street Sound is a recording studio, it's a production company, rehearsal hall. We have artists. Our artist is Don Adams at the present. We just cut a new album on Don Adams. Mm-hmm. We have participated in the community as far as bringing other artists, musicians into the community, out of the community into Jefferson Street Sound. Jefferson Street Sound has been here since 2010. We are interested in creating new talent out of Jefferson Street, Nashville, and the community. So we have tried to enhance what's happening in the music industry in Nashville as far as Jefferson Street is concerned. Our intention is to create a new sound, create new music, create new talent from the community and from other areas of Nashville and outside Nashville.
You know, Mr. Washington, when you talk about Jefferson Street, you know, Jefferson Street sound. Now, Jefferson Street is well known for not only the Jefferson Street sound, but what about Jefferson Street? I mean, you've lived on Jefferson Street. I would imagine you've seen Jefferson Street change from one thing. Talk about some of the things that you've seen.
I've seen quite a number of things change on Jefferson Street. Matter of fact, Jefferson Street back in the day, we had a number of clubs, and I had met Ted Jarrett. Ted Jarrett was one of the first ones to come to Jefferson Street as a record label, as a production situation. But I think we were one of the first production companies or studios that has been placed on Jefferson Street in a long time. Now, I had heard that there were a studio on Jefferson Street years ago, but we haven't found that in the books anywhere.
And so Jefferson Street is very, very important place where people go in order for entertainment. Yeah, it has always served as sort of an entertainment mecca for North Nashville, or what, for the world, or what?
Yes, well, for the world, people that has been in the entertainment business from around the world and from around the country has played on Jefferson Street at one time or another. Jefferson Street was a mecca for top entertainment back in the day. We had a number of clubs on Jefferson Street where artists came, and one of the reasons they came here was because of WLAC radio. You know, back in the day, WLAC radio was the only source of radio entertainment that a lot of folk had, and especially folk that lived in the rural areas, and that station stretched from Nashville all the way to North Carolina, Florida, and different places.
Arkansas and all of those other places. Yeah, I know. I've heard of WLAC and Randy and all of that. And so that's all part of, see, and that's what you're buying into, and that's part of your tradition in terms of when you talk about Jefferson Street. And so the leaf that you have behind, the tree that you have behind you, sort of gives the names of a large number of individuals, a large number of, you mentioned clubs. What were some of the important clubs?
Some of the clubs that was on Jefferson Street was like the Del Morocco, the Club Baron. The new era was off Jefferson Street, but it is on this poster here. We designed this poster based on the clubs that was on Jefferson Street back in the day. there were a number of artists that came from all around to Nashville to be on Jefferson Street performing in the clubs. And that's what we documented on this, with this poster here, was some of those places that, and people that was in those clubs.
Did you have an opportunity to meet any notable individuals in your career? And who are some of the notable individuals that you had a chance to meet in your situation? You've already mentioned two very, very important individuals, Moses Dillard and Minister Boyce, Jesse Boyce, and et cetera. We know those individuals. But looking back in your own mind, who are some of the individuals
Well, some of the people that played on Jefferson Street back then was like Frank Howard, who was a known artist who played on TV quite a bit. Gene Allison, I got a chance to know Gene Allison. Herbert Hunter, I got a chance to know him. Clifford Curry was another one. Back in those days, I didn't know Marion James, but I do know her now. She's a friend. I got to chance. Well, then I knew Jimmy Church. Jimmy Church was a great performer.
Church
then.
Review.
Yeah, and he's still doing it now. I got a chance to meet with and talk to Billy Cox, and Billy Cox was is one of the only artists left, band members left from the Jimi Hendrix era. So there were a lot of folk, and Herbert Hunter and I, we went to school together. Herbert started out at about 17 years old. Ted Jarrett picked him up when he was 17. And at the time, they came up with a hit record, a good selling record. Back then they say hits, but good selling record. And I remember Herbert buying him a brand new 61 Ford Galaxy, and I used to chauffeur him and Ted around, he and Ted Jarrett. So that was a good time during those years of entertainment. And it just moved forward. We're still now trying to find a niche that would put us back into the entertainment field on Jefferson Street. We're trying to create a new sound, something that we can give this city other than country music.
Oh, very good. And of course, Mr. Washington, we're getting ready for our second commercial break, after which we'll come back and talk about the legacy that of Jefferson Street. And of course, we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.